Step 4, made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. You know, I hear a lot of people say they leave on their 4th step. They walk away on 4 and 5, right? I mean, I knew what I did wrong. I knew it wasn't a surprise to me that I was stealing from people and manipulating my family and cheating on women. That was not a surprise. So for me anyway, I hear that and I look at it and think, you don't know all this stuff already? But step 4 for me was a way of organizing it, finding out why I do it, what my role is, and finding a way to not do it anymore, right? So I looked at step 4 and it was like, step 4 is the roadmap to what makes Sweezy homeless with track marks, right? So I'm gonna write down all of this stuff that I did. I've got sex harms. I've got fears of mine. I've got resentments. Resentment's the number 1 offender, right? Those things that make me angry. Resentment means to refeel. So the reason that I figured we have to write it down is because as I was writing out some of those things, some of my resentments with my parents, some of my resentments with other family members or friends of mine, as I was writing them down, I remembered other things that I was resentful about, right? I remembered other harms that I had caused. I remembered other sex conduct, right? So as you're writing them down, you start to remember other ones that you're not thinking of every day. And I wrote all that stuff down and looked at it with my sponsor. You know, the roadmap, this is it. The roadmap to what makes me homeless, right? And we're looking at the roadmap, and then the next thing was, I have to find out what my role in them is, right? And it's important to know for me that just because you had a role in something doesn't mean that you were necessarily wrong, okay? There's a lot of resentments and things I had from my childhood, from arguing with my father and us not getting along, right? And sometimes my role in it was I just wasn't old enough to walk away, to get in a car and drive away. I lived there. I didn't have a driver's license. So my role in it maybe I was just there, or that I bought into it. Doesn't mean I was wrong, right? But then there's plenty, you know, the other 99.9% of everything, I had a direct role in it where I was wrong. So I write down the roadmap to what makes me homeless. The way I treat people, the way I react to the world, the type of resentments that I carry around with me. And then I start to look at my role in them and find out where I was wrong so I can stop that behavior and not have to do it again, right? So step 4 for me was simply the roadmap to what makes me homeless. And then I move into step 5 and I showed it to my sponsor, right? Here's the roadmap to what makes me homeless, my man. Then we look at it and he starts to tell me some of my character defects. Like I justify things a lot, right? My actions. It's okay to go flip an ounce of cocaine because rent's due. I'm doing it for a good reason. Mind you, I never flipped anything, right? I ended up at the Motel 6 peeking out of the blinds and rent never got paid anyway. But I got to take the roadmap of what makes me homeless and show it to one of you all, another member of the fellowship, and let them look at it so we can then define my role in it and then try to practice not doing it anymore. So when I showed it to my sponsor on step 5, later on, through our ongoing relationship, he can turn around and look back at me and say, hey man, you're doing it again. You're doing that stuff that makes Sweezy homeless with track marks. You're doing it right now. Now what's your role in it and what are we gonna do to stop it? Without using drugs or alcohol.